Hello everybody and welcome to Langer's Legion. I'm Langer and let's talk Star Wars Legion. And in today's video, I'm going to build upon a video I did a few months back about getting started in Star Wars Legion with how to build out an Imperial army. So let's get into it. So like I mentioned a few months back, I did a video on getting started in Star Wars Legion where I discussed the various core sets and Battle Force boxes as a new player on how to get in to Star Wars Legion, and you can see here for that video. In that video, like I said, we discussed the core sets, the Battle Force boxes. Each is a great way to get into Star Wars Legion, but depending on which way you chose, whether it's the core set, and in this video where I'm going to talk about the Galactic Civil War, which gives you the Empire and the Rebels, as well as one of the Battle Force sets, and in this case Blizzard Force. Those are all great starting points, but you need something to build upon them to get to that 800-point army, or to really, in the case of Blizzard Force, I feel, fill it out a little better to get the most bang for your buck. So whether you purchase the Galactic Civil War set or Blizzard Force, I'm going to give you 5 options for each army to expand and build out to an 800-point Star Wars Legion. Note, these are just my opinions. Your mileage may vary if you feel otherwise. Obviously, post comments below. And let's not forget the golden rule. Obviously, hopefully we're playing this game just to have fun. So obviously, if there's a unit that's not on this list that just seems more exciting to you or something you want to play on the tabletop, of course, go that route. My goal here is just to kind of give you options to maximize that initial investment, again, between the core set or the Blizzard Force box set. So let's start with the Galactic Civil War box set. When you get that box, you get a speeder bike, you get Commander Vader, and you do get 2 units of stormtroopers, which of course are the mainstay of the Imperial Army. Now, when it comes to building out a full Star Wars Legion army or an 800-point army, you are required to bring 3 core units with you. So with that said, our first unit option, I'm actually going to give you 2 for the price of 1. First one is obviously you can pick up another box of stormtroopers and you can fill out 3 full squads with 4 core unit members and a heavy with the HH-12 or the DLT-19. But I feel like the better option, and quite honestly what I think is the best core unit in the game, is to go with the short troopers. Now the short troopers come from Rogue One, which is a great, fantastic Star Wars movie. But the benefit of the short troopers box is you get 2 units in one box. So you get the core short trooper unit, as well as you get this add-on mortar unit that is just great to have in the army because it's low point cost. You get fire support with it. It does throw 3 white dice that are suppressive for the mortar shot. And then when you get to the actual short troopers themselves, they throw 1 black dice per mini. Of course, they defend with red dice like all Imperial troopers, but they have a great heavy upgrade that gives you critical 2 that throws additional black dice to the dice pool. So for me, this is kind of the no-brainer when it comes to filling out that core unit. Again, you get 2 units, quote unquote, for the price of 1 or in 1 box. But I'm partial to stormtroopers. You might be able to see them behind me. Can't go wrong with just an all stormtrooper army as well. So the next pick that I have for the Galactic Civil War set might be an odd one. So hear me out. And that's going with Operative Vader. Now, the reason for that is obviously you get Commander Vader in the core set, and you also get Commander Vader in Blizzard Force. So this is kind of a dual role. You might see this one come up again. Is Op Vader has additional command cards that you can play with Operative Vader or Commander Vader, right? Because they're named cards for Darth Vader. And the key cards that you get are Darkness Descends, which the key element here is if you play it, basically Vader gets 2 surge tokens at the beginning of every round, and this is kind of the best of the 3 in my opinion. Fear and Deadman, which comes in a close second, basically gives you some better deflect. So basically if the defending player rolls blanks instead of surges, they're going to take wounds. And finally you get Vader's Might, which not all that great. I've used it a couple times, but it basically lets you pick up a mini, move it range 1, height 1, and cause some wounds to it when you move it. Again, you know, it's fourth on this list. These are not in order of preference, but I would suggest picking up Operative Vader, again, just for those command cards and specifically Darkness Descends. When it comes to building out an 800-point army, and especially as you get more competitive or you play more competitive games, you obviously need to get activations, right? The game has added mechanics with the pass, so you know you don't have to have those 11 or 12 activation type lists to really stand a chance, but it's still nice to get into that 9 to 10 activation realm if you're doing, you know, playing in tournaments or playing a little bit more competitive just than on your kitchen table. And one of the best ways to do that is the next unit type for the core set that I suggest, which is the Scout Trooper box. And just like the Shore Trooper box, the reason for this is you really get 2 units in the box for the price of 1. You get the Scout Trooper unit itself, which is 4 minis, and you can have the sniper rifle, or you can have a saboteur to the specialist group, or you can use the 2-man strike team, and this is more commonly what you see out of this box set, because you get a sniper rifle that has range 5, throws 2 black dice, Pierce 1, and it's lethal. And you know, for the amount of points these cost, I think they're somewhere in like the 50 to 60 range. You equip a couple of these, and then you spend those extra points on heroes or bigger core units or whatever, or even some vehicles. But the Scout Trooper box, great pickup. Again, you get 2 units for the price of 1. Other ways to augment your army. And with that said, we've kind of I grouped these 2 together in picks 4 and 5 as they kind of coexist. I mean, they're better together. You can play them individually, but you definitely want to play them together. And that's Iden Versio as the operative commander unit, teamed up with the Imperial Special Forces or Inferno Squad box set. And just like these other ones, it's all about maximizing the dollar you're paying for these expansion units. So let's start with Iden Versio. So Iden can be played both as a commander or as an operative. If you play her as an operative, she does get Infiltrate on top of her, you know, other keywords. She brings along some excellent command cards. You get Pulse Scan, which gives her Sharpshooter 2 for the round. You get Concussive Blast, which throws 5 reds, has Blast, Scatter, and is suppressive. And then you kind of get Incapacitate, which is she comes with an additional model, this little droid. Basically, it's a way to kind of shock folks and throw out some suppression tokens. I've actually never played this card. But what her command cards, and the one that she's really known for, is Tactical Strike, which you give an order to Iden and 3 troopers. They gain Steady and Tactical 1 for the round. The trooper units have to be Special Forces. And you can get up some really great shenanigans with this card because of Steady and Tactical 1. A lot of times, like, I move forward with Tactical 1, get the aim, move back with Steady, get the next aim, and then I get that free attack because of Steady. So you can kind of do some weird shenanigans with this. So you group that with Iden, or maybe this, the long-range snipers, or even Inferno Squad, and that Tactical Strike command card can do a lot of damage. Along with that is you get the Infernal Squad or the ISF box set, which again is 2 units in 1 box. You've got the regular ISF squad that comes in there with, you know, 4 main minis in the unit with a heavy. But really, you're probably going to play this Inferno Squad, which gives you a couple additional named characters that come from the Star Wars Battlefront series of games, along with Iden Versio. You get Gideon Hask, who gets some Coordinate Trooper commands of better order control. And more specifically, you get Del Meeko, again, with another long-range sniper rifle with lethal and pierce on it that can do some long-range damage. And they have Retinue with Iden Versio, which basically means as long as they're within range 1 to 2 of Iden, you're going to be able to give them an aim or a dodge on top of the reliable that they're already getting with the Surge token. So again, options 4 and 5, but they really kind of play together. But Iden was the first like add-on expansion I got, and she's one of my favorite as far as a non-Force user. So let's talk about if you went with Blizzard Force. Now, Blizzard Force is a bit more constrained because it is a battle force. There's only so many units you can pick. It can take bikes, ATST, snows, General Veers, Imperial Officer, Commander Vader, and these HRUs, which we'll get into here in a moment. So that kind of locks you down into what you would look at for expanding that box set. But just know that you're going to want to, like, it does come with some snows, it comes with a couple bikes, Commander Vader, but it doesn't bring enough to the table to really unlock the power of Blizzard Force, and specifically around the extra bikes and the stormtroopers that you're going to need. Which brings me to the first thing that you're going to want to pick up. You're going to want to pick up 2 boxes of stormtroopers to play what they call these HRUs, or these heavy response units. And this is a special unit that's locked into Blizzard Force that allows the stormtrooper units to equip 2 heavy weapons. Usually that's the DLT-19 and the RT-97C, both for those range 4, long-range gun lines. And you need these stormtroopers to do it. If you don't have stormtroopers, you're going to have to go out and buy these boxes. Now, on top of that, you are going to need, if you want the RT-97C, you're going to have to pick up 2 boxes of stormtrooper upgrades. So you're going to kind of have a heavy lift if you don't already have stormtroopers to get into the HRUs and Blizzard Force. But if you don't, you're really missing out. And I'm not quite sure why you would play Blizzard Force without the HRUs. For that long-range game, you're throwing 3 red, 3 white, range 4, unhindered, they're precise. Like, just, if you're going the Blizzard Force route, like, these are definitely a must-have pickup. And like I said, the next one, we talked about Op Vader for the exact same reasons why I said in the core set, you're really going to want those command cards. Now, when Blizzard Force first came out, you could play Operative Vader. They've kind of nerfed it a little bit because that was a little bit too powerful. So they've switched it so you can use Commander Vader. So you're going to want the Darkness Descends and those command cards. And also, just for future, or for reference, they did also increase the price of the HRUs. They actually used to be cheaper. And those units are they're just nasty. So there was some balance issues that they had to figure out. But I digress. So Op Vader, another pickup for Blizzard Force. The next thing that you're really going to want if you want to maximize Blizzard Force is 2 more boxes of speeder bikes. Blizzard Force allows you to take up to 4 speeder bikes, where usually a normal army can only take up to 3. And I mean, these guys are just like the HRUs. Having 4 bikes on the table is just nasty. You get a high-speed vehicle that has a compulsed move, moves at range 3. With a full unit, you're throwing a double rainbow with impact 2. Great flanking speed as you kind of match up one side, maybe with your HRUs and an ATST or your snows, whatever you're doing. But the fact that you've got 4 pairs of bikes on the table is just something that your opponent always has to keep in mind, especially if you win the bid and you're playing objectives like bombing run or breakthrough. So along with the stormtroopers, you're really going to want to pick up 2 more sets of bikes. And then finally, I bring one of my favorite commanders to the table, which is General Veers. Now, General Veers had a point reduction recently. He kind of was shuffled in the back in the meta, a while ago. But when you bring him into Blizzard Force, I think he really shines, because Veers, for his point cost at 70 points, he surges to crit. He comes with Spotter 2. I usually throw some binoculars on there, or electro binoculars, give him Spotter 3, so he's just handing out those aim tokens. But he also brings very complementary command cards when it comes to Blizzard Force. And the first one being Maximum Firepower. So that's a range 4 to unlimited with 4 reds, impact, immune deflect with his surge to crit. I mean, it's just a great card to go along with the other Barrage card that comes with Blizzard Force, which throws 4 blacks, has beam, immune deflect, has blast. It does, it only throws those 4 blacks, but these are a great 1-2 punch. And sorry for the, the pun here, to bring a lot of firepower in the opening rounds, or maybe in rounds 3 or 4. It just depends on how you're playing Veers, because again, it is a range 4 to unlimited, so you do need to kind of play him back a little bit. On top of that, though, he does get evasive maneuvers, which allows vehicles to spend dodges to cancel crits. And it gives a unit that you give an order token to a dodge. So if you give those to those speeder bikes we talked about, which can be pretty squishy, or if you give it to an ATST, you're at least going to remove the option of for 1 wound on these vehicles, right, as they get attacked. So that's a great card. And then his last one, which to me is kind of a dud, I've never used it, is Imperial Discipline. Basically allows you to assign orders to troopers, and if you do, they recover. So if you're dealing with something with a lot of suppression, think of those storms or those HRUs, you can kind of clear those off. But if you're kind of staying together, you know, you're not worrying about those units panicking. Maybe they could get a little suppressed and lose actions. But I've actually never played this card. So with that said, those are 5 options for each of the core set or the Blizzard Force box. Like I said, if you think differently or have other options, post them down below. I hope this has been helpful for you all. And until the next video, hail to the Empire.